Hi, good evening. Good evening. Welcome. Very happy to see you guys here. Please give me a sign that you can hear me and see me. Maybe a small plus or wave hand or something like that so that I know that everything is okay technically. Usually this technical stuff is bringing some problems for us. So today we have amazing guest and amazing topic coming. And I'm so excited. But before we start, I have to tell you our news. Our studio is opening next week, so you can start booking your appointments. We're so excited. We've been working really hard on this, and you will see that it's a very different style. You will have a fresh vegan beauty bar, so a lot of things that are coming. Please watch our news. Today our newsletter is coming out. If you are not signed up, please do so and you will see all our news that are coming. We did launch an absolutely amazing product which we've been working on for 2 years actually. It's a broad spectrum sunscreen. It's 95% natural, it's vegan, and it's really nice. When you first apply it, it's a little bit white, but only just for a few seconds. You will be amazed. Usually these white creams, they stay white if they're natural, but ours is super amazing. It just really smooth, you will see. And what else do we have? Yeah, that's about it. I mean, we've been working really hard for you, so hope you enjoy it. Waiting for her to join. Can you hear me? Is everything okay technically?
I can hear you are cracking a little. You're cracking up a little bit. It's not the best line.
Oh really? Oh
yeah. Your voice and also the pixels are a little bit.
Is it better? Is it better now or not really?
The voice is a bit better, but the pixels come and go.
I'll try not to move. Farah, thank you so much for joining us tonight. I'm really excited, and I know you are super busy. You have kids, you have your work. You're so busy, and I mean, thank you so much for finding time. I would like to introduce Farah. She is the managing director and the owner of the St. Raphael Spa and Resort and the Marine here in Cyprus. And she is somebody who is really enjoying a vegan lifestyle, and this is exactly what we're going to talk about today. Am I better a little bit or not, my sound and my visual?
The visual are not so great, but the sound is perfect now. So that's
okay, that's the most important. And plus, I don't think anybody wants to listen to me, but they want to listen to you. So
we know how beautiful you are. So if you're a bit bad, it's okay. As long as we can questions, we're good.
Let's start by I'm asking you such question. How did you get into a vegan lifestyle? I think this is the most interesting question that everybody would love to know.
Wow, how long do I have?
All the time.
You're so sweet. Okay, without boring people too much then. In short, I was a pescatarian for 10 years. So I didn't eat meat, but I ate fish. And that was almost an unconscious decision that I kind of rolled into without really thinking about it. So I entered vegetarianism without a purpose really. It's the same in Russia, in Cyprus, anywhere where there's Christian Orthodox. We fast every year with giving up animal products, and I've been doing that by choice. My family didn't make me, but by choice since I was about 14, 15. And one year Easter came and I just went, you know what, I'm good. I won't have margherita, I'll have some meat tomorrow. And then Easter Sunday came and I said, no, I'm good tomorrow. And I never wanted to put a label on it. I didn't want to say, even after months passed, I was still not saying I was a vegetarian or pescatarian. And after some time, I was like, oh, you know what? I really don't want to eat this animals anymore. But I was still eating fish. So in my head, I differentiated land animals with sea animals. And I kind of justified it in a way that everyone does. And I just thought that's fine. And I thought, oh, they don't really have feelings or souls or whatever, or feel pain. And then I started to get more and more interested in veganism and plant-based diets. And that was, to be honest, without wanting to sound selfish, it was a health reason, as a lot of people do. I used to suffer from IBS, irritable bowel syndrome, and it was quite bad sometimes. And obviously, that's very much stress induced. I was very busy and working a lot, but I realized that actually no, stress is the last straw, let's say, but the build-up of the camel's back is actually what you're eating. And then also I'm a psoriasis sufferer, so I have an autoimmune disease that in my case is the skin condition, and it got particularly bad after my first child. So I had Yasmina, my daughter, and 1 year I was breastfeeding her for a year, and at the end of that year, before I'd actually stopped breastfeeding, I had this eruption, and my body was basically exhausted, which is very normal, and it can happen even if you're plant-based. But I realized I needed to do something, and I started reading, and I'm a very much hands-on person. I just think there's a problem, we can find a solution, we can fix it. So when doctors were telling me, no, this is a genetic condition and you're just going to have to learn to live with it, I didn't believe them. I was like, that's rubbish. And they were giving me steroid creams, and it was so bad that I couldn't actually walk at one stage because it was on the soles of my feet, and my feet were broken, and I just thought, no, this is rubbish. I started reading about it. I started reading about alkaline diets. I went to the Dead Sea in Jordan with my 1-year-old. I left work. I left, my husband. I went for 3 weeks. I saw a fantastic doctor there who was not, he didn't believe in the nutrition side of things either, but he was very good at putting me on the right path in other ways. And I then basically entered this path slowly that started getting me more interested into a plant-based diet. And then about a few years later, actually, I then started watching documentaries and reading more reports. And I said, that's it, I'm going vegan. Or rather, I'm going plant-based. I was doing it, to be healthy. And then after I made that decision, I didn't take it lightly, though. I didn't just say, oh, I'm going plant-based and go and eat a load of pasta and become malnourished. I said, right, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it properly. So I signed up for a course on plant-based nutrition, and I got the certificate for it. It took a few weeks at the time online. It was a bit hectic, but it was really good from eCornell. And I then started, also still reading about it, but started changing all our family meals into plant-based meals, which was actually much easier than I ever thought it was. And I just opened my mind to all these amazing recipes that I'd never considered. And then now I would say I'm in equal parts. I also, sustainability is so important to me. My footprint I'm personally leaving behind, and the families, and also the animals. The animals have become actually one of the foremost things now that keeps me vegan. I just can't even begin to imagine what these animals go through. And I love elephants. I love pigs. These are my 2 favorite animals. I wouldn't wish harm on them. And I just think, once you learn something, you can't unlearn it. You can't not know it. And I now know so many things. But I will just quickly say that it was easier for me than others to go vegan, because I've never eaten cheese all my life. I was born lactose intolerant. I've never eaten cheese. I don't even like vegan cheese. So I know that cheese is addictive, and I do feel for people who want to go vegan and just feel that they can't give it up. I would just say to you, you can give it up, you can do it. And really, it's even worse for you than meat. It's so unhealthy, and it's a horrible industry as well. So if you can not support it, it's much easier now not to support non-dairy cheeses, because there's so many amazing ones out there that smell and look and taste exactly like cheese. So that's my story as quickly as I could sum it up.
Oh my God, I have so many questions now. First one, you said that you had irritable bowel syndrome, but a lot of people, they connect it with eating raw vegetables. What would you say to that?
Oh my goodness, it couldn't be further from the truth. Really, guys, I had such bad IBS that I had to leave business dinners. you know, with just making an excuse. I was going to the bathroom and never come back. Call someone else to come and finish them for me. I was so bad. There were so many parties and events and leaving work. I could not even drive home. I couldn't. My stomach was so bad. I didn't have the pressure to put my foot on the accelerator. I just couldn't drive for like 2-3 days. I had to get, you know, someone to drive me. I had really, really a bad IBS. I drove myself once to the polyclinic here in Limassol, and I had the worst IBS attack. I was in there for a week, and I had pre-pyloric ulcerations, ulcers, and I can't remember 2 other things wrong with me. I mean, I can't even begin to tell you what I had with my stomach. And I actually, at the time, I had a stomach doctor who I had, you know, people were telling me, oh, you've got an IBS attack. You better not have fruits. You better not have anything raw. And I asked this doctor, I said, okay, people are telling me that not only I couldn't have it then, they were telling me, other doctors telling me you can never eat it. Like you have to just have cooked meat and I don't know what. And I asked this doctor and he looked at me very calmly, and he's not vegan. He's not plant-based. He's, you know, thank goodness he's well-read though. And he just said to me, do you know, have you read anywhere in the world that fruits and vegetables are bad for you? And I was like, no. And he's like, aren't they full of nutrients and minerals? I was like, absolutely. And he's like, well, why don't you decide for yourself what your body can handle and what it can't? And I was like, wow. And so, I mean, obviously, if you have an IBS attack, anything you eat, you know, you drink a glass of water, you're going to get pain. It's terrible when you're inflamed. It's the same thing with any gastro problem. If you've got gastroenteritis and you vomit, you can't drink immediately after that spasm, because your stomach will go back in spasm, your bowels will go back in spasm with IBS. But when you've calmed down a bit, my suggestion to anyone who has IBS is, you know, slowly reintroduce certain things into your diet. And also, if something bothers you at once, it doesn't mean in a month's time it's going to bother you again. It doesn't mean, oh, I had a raw carrot and it bothered me, I can never eat raw carrots. Let your body heal. Let all the organisms, the microbial in your stomach, the healthy bacteria, let it all come back, and then reintroduce it 1 month, 2 months, 6 months down the line, and see again. And it's a very slow process. I mean, it took me years for my body to, you know, and to be honest, after I've had my kids, I've had very similar symptoms to IBS attacks, which is actually normal. It's the whole body and all your internal organs getting back into place. But apart from that, knock on wood, I really haven't had an attack in years. And I'm vegan. I mean, I eat only, you know, fruits and veg. I'm a plant-based vegan. So no, it's not true. And I've done juicing. I've done whole juicing detoxes and I've been fine. You know, smoothies, you name it. No, your body can take it, and it's essential. So if you have IBS, try it.
So you think IBS is very much connected, I mean, mostly to stress then?
No, I believe it's triggered by stress. And
triggered.
Triggered. I do believe, yeah, it's definitely triggered by stress, but it's also, I believe it's, all the rubbish we put in our diet. I mean, our bodies, I believe our bodies are not meant to consume meat. I really believe that. I believe that, I mean, if you look at how we are as humans, people say, oh, our ancestors were hunting and they were killing meat and this is our body and we're like lions and, you know, whatever, we're mammals. This is absolute rubbish. I mean, if you really delve into it, first of all, they've done studies recently that have shown that, yes, while the early form of man's had, you know, skeletal remains surrounded by bones that they were eating, you know, you're not going to get the remain of a carrot or a squash or an apple. I mean, these things get disintegrated into the ground. So that's why there wasn't proof that we were eating, you know, raw fruit and vegetables. But actually now they've managed to examine the earth around prehistoric, you know, the remains of early humans. And they found that, no, we were mainly eating plants and vegetables. But the bones were there from the occasional bit of meat that someone was hunting, and that was easy calories. Our hands are developed. Are these hands the hands that would rip out a heart from a thing? Could we, I mean, our nails, I have long nails. I'm telling you, I couldn't kill my cat with my nails. My teeth. Could I literally get an animal? Would I manage to get a rabbit and delve into it? No. I have canines. I'm not a lion. These are the basic things. Then our teeth aren't strong enough to chew that raw meat, and that's why we cook it. But cooking it is not a normal thing either. And then if you look at our actual intestines, I mean, let's say a meat-eating a carnivore, a lion. A lion has very short intestines, long. All of the intestines, they're short because they eat this raw meat that has to, otherwise it's going to go putrid inside them. It's going to go rotten. So it has to pass through them. Their body has to work to digest it the quickest, and then it goes out. We're like apes, we're like elephants, we're like, other herbivores where we've got these long intestines that go all, I mean, they can stretch, miles. I mean, and that's to slowly digest and absorb all our fruits and veg that we are supposed to be eating. So that's just a very short summary, but no. So I believe that, yeah, if you're eating loads and loads and loads, and I'm talking, okay, anything in moderation, but if you're eating all of this rubbish and processed sugar, it's terrible, processed food, your body cannot absorb that, and you're not letting your body recover. So if you've got IBS, you're literally hitting it, like, here, have another, slap. Your body's just trying to recover, and you're giving it another whack, and it's like you've got a scratch, and you keep on making the scab. And I believe that's what's behind IBS.
So let's talk about a little bit about the nutrition itself. Especially, I didn't know that you finished the course. That's amazing. So then
I'm not a nutritionist.
Of course, but still,
yeah.
you know better than just a regular person who just eats certain nutrition. I mean, you've done a little bit of studies, which is extremely important. So, okay, there again, two questions here. One is, how do we raise children who don't eat meat because they're supposed to eat meat because this is how they're building, let's say, their bones, whatever. And then the second question is, okay, if we don't eat meat as grown-ups or whatever, we need to substitute somehow with certain plants and, I don't know, maybe vitamins or whatever. How do we approach all of this? Sorry, it's two questions in one, but it's like related.
Okay. All right. I'll start with the second question. Okay. And if anybody has any questions as they're watching this, just type them in.
They do. I will ask them just a little. Yeah.
So, okay, so if we're not eating meat, how can we get all our nutrients? And the main thing that everybody asks is, how can we get our protein? And this is a big myth. It's vegans, like it's a bane of our lives, let's say, that we always get asked, oh, how do you get protein? You're protein deficient. And I would just pose a question to everyone watching. Have you ever met anyone protein deficient? I mean, I haven't. Is there a ward in the hospital, dedicated to protein deficiency? When you go for blood tests, do they test your protein? It's impossible. It's impossible. If you're having a plant-based diet, especially if you're having a whole food plant-based diet, a proper, array of food, you cannot be protein deficient. It's just not possible. There's protein in everything. So that's the first thing. Now, iron is a bit harder. Yes, iron, you need to make sure that you have your legumes, your green leafy vegetables. So you do need to have a balanced diet, and you need to make sure that you have your vitamin C every day, which everyone has to make sure they have that anyway. And I think as well, this is where the marketing world has really come in, because even kids, they all know about vitamin C. Oh, we must have our vitamin C. Yes, you must, but there's a whole other load of vitamins that you need to have every day. And one that people always leave behind is vitamin D. They're not really so in tune with that one. And vitamin D is one of the easiest to get, actually. You just need to get out in the sun for 10 minutes a day. And I'm not talking about midday tanning in a bikini. No, literally, face. They say face and arms, but I know who wants wrinkles. I mean, cover your face, but get your shoulders, get your arms out, just roll out. I mean, for me, I try and just, when we're not in lockdown, walk around the hotel when I do my rounds, and I just move my sleeves up a bit so that my arms are in the sun. 10 minutes a day, you'll get your vitamin D. A lot of people in this part of the world are vitamin D deficient, which is an irony with all this sun, and it can happen. So it is worth, if you're worried about that, or if you go for blood tests, just take supplements. They're so easy. And now the more and more research they do into vitamin D, the more we have, the better. It's actually the happy vitamin. So I always say that I'm quite lucky that my vitamin D was always abnormally high, which is probably why I'm just hyper unhappy all the time. Like, but I still take, now I take, and especially after going full vegan, I realized that it might be easy for it to drop more. So I take supplements, and it's very important if you've got an autoimmune disease, especially if you've got a skin condition or acne, just take vitamin D supplements, and really you can't have too much. So before they used to say like 1,000 I use, and then they went to 2,000, now there's 4,000, now there's 5,000 tablets, and there's some doctors that are saying if you've got an autoimmune, take 8,000 a day. So just just try and get out in the sun and take those. And yeah, test your iron, try and make sure that your iron's okay. And B12 is something that a lot of people, I think they've started hearing about it now, but before that they didn't. And I think, to be honest, a lot of people who are against veganism use this as the excuse. Don't go vegan because you won't get your B12. And this is an absolute pile of rubbish, because B12 is actually from the soil. It's a soil mineral. So our bodies don't produce it. We have to ingest it. And we get it, we used to get it from soil. So we used to get our organic vegetables, you know, we're talking about grandparents' era, not wash them very well, and effectively been eating a bit of soil. Our closest, let's say, mammal siblings, gorillas or apes, they get their B12 by, yes, eating, you know, helping clean their young, and eating, obviously, unwashed fruits and veg, and their own poo. So we don't really want to do that. So the best way for us is just to take a supplement. And even if you're watching this, you're not vegan, take supplements of B12. A lot of omnivores are B12 deficient, because now the animals are not grazing in these, you know, green pastures and meadows and eating all this lush green and then being killed, and they've got the B12 in them. They're raised in small barns, in crates. They have nothing natural that they're eating. They're eating processed food, and they get no B12 themselves. So what farmers do in order for it to be in the meat that we're buying is they inject it to the animals, along with, you know, half the world's antibiotics and a load of other rubbish that really you could do without ingesting. So my thing is, you know, cut out the middleman. We don't need to eat an animal to get B12. I'm not perfect. My B12 dropped. I take supplements, but I take like the normal recommended amount. And when I was my last pregnancy, all my pregnancies, things have dropped. I think anyone who's ever been pregnant and been for blood tests, you know, suddenly everything is perfect. Your calcium, your iron, your ferritin, it all goes, because these little wonderful angels inside of us just go, and they take it all for themselves, which that's what we want as their mothers. But it leaves us like, you know, so definitely take the multivitamins when you're pregnant, and just go for blood tests. And I ended up, you know, taking like loads of extra, and I still am because I'm breastfeeding. So it is definitely worth it. And I think vegans in general are more worried, or not more worried, they're more aware about their vitamin and mineral intake. They're more concerned about it, which leads me on to the question number one that you asked, and with our children. So other people I know who are plant-based, or who try to predominantly eat vegan food, you know, we're always just so worried about our children. Are our children getting enough? Oh, they look, and vegan kids, plant-based kids are slimmer. I mean, that's a fact. They are slimmer than omnivore children, and that's not necessarily because of the calories they're eating. They don't get the saturated fat that stays on their body. The calories that they eat, they can burn it off more often, and they're not getting the hormones and the other rubbish that come with, you know, McDonald's and chicken nuggets. So so they don't have that kind of, you know, fluffiness about them. But they're rosy cheeked, they've got beautiful skin, and they're great. Now, I will say here, and this is important, I don't want to pretend I'm something I'm not. My kids are not fully vegan. We cook vegan, that's all I cook at home. We have plant-based food, I don't make anything else. But I strongly believe that children are lent to us, they're not, you know, our property. And so my job really for my kids, I believe, is to show them a healthy way of eating. I eat always with them. They see me have full plates. They see me eat everything, all these different vegetables, and they eat them. And everybody's always amazed at my children, that they sit there from the age of 6 months with their full broccoli florets, sucking on it, to having cauliflower steaks and beans and everything. And they just love their healthy food. But, you know, we go to kids' birthday parties, and I don't want my kids to feel like an outcast, you know, they're in the corner with their little Tupperware, and everybody's saying, oh, we don't want them because they don't eat our food. So they go, You know, most of the time, if it's in, let's say, a play park where we're given a choice and there will be a pasta, they're going to have the pasta. You know, they're not going to have the hot dog. And you know, if the pasta's there, and these places, they give it with like no sauce. They don't even have ketchup. And okay, they'll have the cheese. You know, it's not the end of the world. And they'll have eggs occasionally. I mean, we'll try and source, you know, village eggs for them, which they do like. My daughter would like to try sometimes. She says, I want a bit of chicken, or I'm like, okay, you can have it, you know, it's up to you. She understands that it's an animal, and it's just up to her, but not often. And then my son, though, he thinks it's a joke when people say they eat an animal. He's like, they're joking, right? He's very emotional. He just thinks it's crazy. But he will have fish, and that's something that, yeah, for my husband, it is quite important that he wants them to have a bit more of a broad diet, and I respect that. And you know, I was eating fish until a few years ago, so but he will say, my boy, like, poor fish, didn't they want to be at home? And I just leave it like that. So it's really up to him. You know, this space, will they be vegetarians? Will they just go to flexitarian? I don't think they're going to go ever to full blown omnivore, because I think they're being brought up more sensible than that, maybe more in tune with and more empathic, really. But we'll see. Yeah, it's up to them. So, but that's what I think my job is as a parent, and I think I would advise everyone just to raise your kids as healthy as we can. And I'm just quite shocked when I see other mums like, how many nuggets did you have? Oh, good, you had 6. Okay. And I'm like, you know, for me, I'd rather my kid just didn't eat at that party. And you know, I'm a bit like, I wouldn't encourage it. So, and then people wonder why their kids are sick, or you know, whatever. It's crazy. But
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I totally agree with you. But it's so nice that, you know, you have this approach of giving them certain freedom in that sense, because I think it's very important. So it doesn't create, you know, the feeling of there is something which we're not supposed to eat, and then okay, let's run and eat it as soon as possible, you know.
I actually have a friend who is also vegan, and he asked me, how do I get my kids to eat so healthy? And I was like, but you're vegan. And he's like, yeah, but my kids can't wait to eat meat, and they run, and they, you know. And then I'm like, well, it's, you know, I was trying to be nice, but it's because, you know, they make them feel so awkward, you know.
Yeah.
If the child is there and they have, I mean, like, I'll send my kids to school, and I'll put vegan ham and vegan cheese in a sandwich. Not every day, but if they have a sandwich, that's what they'll have. And, you know, as far as their friends are concerned, it looks exactly the same as their ham and cheese sandwich. So my kids know that they're having a vegan sandwich. They know that that's not from an animal, but they will sit there happily eating this, you know, sandwich, thinking, and they might tell their friends, oh, this isn't really from an animal, but it looks like it, and they feel like they're part of a community, and they don't feel the odd ones out or different. You know, same thing. I like whole food. I mean, I don't really like to have processed, you know, flour, or have, you know, get white flour at home. But, you know, if my daughter says sometimes, oh, mommy, I want the white, you know, fluffy bread that friends have, I'm like, okay, you know, we stop, and it's like a treat for her, and she gets so excited and she appreciates it. So, and I just think, and then that goes on to life in general. I mean, I'm a hotelier, my husband's a lawyer. We didn't tell my husband, you know, we don't tell, sorry, our kids, like, oh, you have to be this. Even if my husband would joke, oh, I hope they're lawyers one day, or I'm like, no, it's up to you. And every night I put them to sleep just saying, you guys can be whatever you want to be. You're going to be the best at whatever you want to be. You can do it. And
yeah, absolutely. Let's go a little bit practical here. First of all, we had a question about iron. Let me just find it. Can you recommend a vegan food suitable for serious iron deficiency?
So iron is, it is a tough one. I was also low on my last pregnancy for several reasons, and I don't think, anyway, it's a personal thing, but yeah, iron, the best thing is dark leafy greens, really. So if you can try and get as much spinach really in, or kale into your diet as possible, that's really the best thing, and every day. And I mean, to be honest, they're the easiest and tastiest thing to eat, but they're the easiest thing to cook with. It's just a hassle to buy, because you go and you have to buy like a whole crate's worth of, you know, spinach that ends up like the tiniest thing once it's cooked. And of course, if it's raw, it's even better. So I would recommend trying to start your day off with smoothies. and you need vitamin C to absorb it. So a really great smoothie, let's say in the morning, is to have a spinach. And it's better to have a smoothie than a juice, although if you like juice, you can do the juicing as well. But the juicing takes out the fiber. So if you smooth some spinach and then put lemon, like half a lemon with the pith in as well, and maybe a bit of ginger if you like ginger, and a green apple, and you mix that up with either coconut water or just plain water or almond milk, then you get this nice berry green smoothie. Okay, it does take a little bit of a while getting used to it, but that's why I like putting the ginger in, because it gives it that kick. And that's super healthy. And quinoa is also a good source. What else? Seeds are good as well. In the smoothie also you can add some a little bit of flax seeds, right? So you get all your omega-3s as well, like 1 teaspoon. So sesame seeds also, and they're full of calcium. So yeah.
So you don't do anything with them, you just add them to the smoothie, for example.
Yeah, I mean, I have a spoon of flaxseed every day, so to make sure I get my omegas. And to be honest, it doesn't really taste of anything, so I just put it on anything. I'll put it in my smoothie. I love banana smoothies as well. I'll throw it on top of a salad. If I've forgotten, at the end of the day, I'll just quickly eat anything, a bit of rice, anything, and I'll just throw a spoon on and just eat it. And
flax seeds are like super good for the body. I mean, it's amazing for skin, it's amazing for nails, for hair. I mean, it's like one of the top superfoods, definitely.
Yeah, but the only thing is that flax seeds, nature packed them a little bit too well. So if you eat flaxseed, as beautiful as they are, and I love putting them in salads whole and nut bars and everything, because they just look so pretty. But yeah, I mean, they're pretty much going to pass through you whole unless you want to chew them for like 90 seconds. So it's just grind them. You can buy them ready as flaxseed flour, or if you've got a grinder at home, a Thermomix, a Vitamix, anything, you can grind them into the flour and then just have them. I just have them in a jar, and every day I just I've got a spoon already in it, and I just put every day. And I try and give it to my kids as well, maybe in their pancake, maybe just in their food. Okay, with children it's harder, so I would say that as well. You know, if you want to raise kids completely vegan, you've got to make sure you're really considering everything. So, and because obviously they've got smaller appetites, even if they eat really well, they don't eat like us. So flax seeds are really good. So
yeah. What about
and if someone is worried about iron, then do take a supplement. Ask that there's some really good natural things, and you can just take one a day with food, and it will help a lot, as well as spinach and everything else. Yeah,
and for women it can be also recommended. For example, I take additional iron during certain parts of the month because we're losing
absolutely. I mean, it is just what it is. And to be honest, even if you're an omnivore, you still won't be getting the iron, because a lot of the time that iron that you get from animals isn't absorbed. So I know a lot of omnivores that are really iron deficient, and then they say, oh, we couldn't go vegetarian, we couldn't go vegan. And it's actually like, well, you'd probably absorb the iron better if you got it from plant-based sources than from animal sources. But everybody is different, so definitely go see someone and ask and take supplements.
Where would you recommend some shopping in Cyprus for the vegan stuff? Because I mean, cheese, and now there's this new company. By the way, do you use it Beyond Meat, for example? And
okay, so for shopping, first of all, it's fruit and veg. You can get them anywhere. So any of your regular shops you go to, you just stock up on fruit and veg and just go and look and see what's in season, and just look at how beautiful it is, and just throw it all in your shopping trolley and enjoy. There's some organic markets as well here, and organic farmers that I think deliver to the houses and things. Because we're a lot in our house and we eat a lot, I tend to just get from the fruit markets and then wash my vegetables really well. So you can soak them with a little bit of bicarb soda or apple cider vinegar to make sure that in case they're not organic, that everything comes off. So yeah, just wash your veg really well. Anyway, we should be washing it really well now with coronavirus times. And but then there's also a lot of the supermarkets have like their health section, so they have loads of food there. Also, the Asian sections are quite good, and the Asian, like the Chinese little supermarkets and stuff, they've got loads of like tamari sauces, soya sauces, spring roll wraps, stuff like that that are delicious. Seaweeds. Or the organic shops are good. We've got quite a few organic shops, and we've got a vegan shop now in Limassol, Vegan for Life. So yeah, definitely these places are, yeah, definitely they're a must. They're good. Yeah.
So how would you like, how would your day look like? What would you eat? Give us a little bit of idea on a menu. How can you go vegan?
Okay, so personally, I'm not a massive breakfast person actually, which I know is really bad. I definitely changed that during pregnancy. I would wake up and make myself have this huge breakfast. But yeah, I normally wait a bit before having a meal. But ideally, yeah, I mean, the best is to wake up, eat like a king, lunch like a prince, and dinner like a pauper. So the healthiest breakfast, and what I try and get my kids to do, is have porridge in the morning. So oats, and not just any oats, ideally organic and whole grain oats, whole grain steel cut. So they're not, a lot of them are not, they've taken out all the vitamins and the way that they're harvested. So yeah, if you have whole grain oats, and the ultimate is to have overnight oats. So if you just put them the night before into, let's say, a Pyrex, and put your preferred plant-based milk in. You could even do it with water, but it's a bit tasteless. So in this house, my son loves coconut milk, so we tend to use that because he'll have it. I personally like soya milk or almond milk. Oat milk is really popular. A lot of people say it's the thing that tastes the most similar to cow milk. So we have all the milks in our house. We just have everything. I mean, so that we change it, we don't get bored, and you know, it's there, vanilla soya, chocolate soya, everything. And yeah, so if you soak that overnight, and to be honest, it will last there. You don't need to have it overnight. I mean, only you can make one and have it for 2-3 days, and then you fill it again and soak it, and that gets rid of the phytic acid, which again won't, then it makes the oats and the vitamins easier to absorb, and you won't get the bloating that a lot of people complain about when having oats. And then we just heat it up in a porridge. You can't have it cold, but we heat it up in a porridge, just adding some extra milk because it gets quite gloopy by the next day. And we always put the flaxseed, ground flaxseed with it, and sesame seeds. Those are a must. And then normally berries. So berries are a really good antioxidant. Anything colorful is extremely good for you. So my kids love strawberries. I'm in two minds about strawberries because some people say they're excellent for psoriasis, other people say not so great. But I do love berries. My favorite are blueberries or raspberries or anything. So I always have those in the freezer. So that's one healthy breakfast we make. We also make banana vegan pancakes. All of this is on Cook Vegan. So if anybody wants to join my Facebook group, they'll see loads and loads of recipes there. The kids will sometimes have cereal. Me personally, I'll have apple, like 2 apples, a red and a green. I'll start with the green, cut up, or I'll have a smoothie, a banana smoothie, which is banana, flax seeds, sesame seeds, a plant-based milk, and berries. So I love that. So, and I might have both, and that's also my snack during the morning. And then nuts. I love nuts, so I always have a Tupperware with me, and I might have the whole Tupperware just as a snack. And then lunch, we vary every day. I think the statistic is an average household only makes 9 dishes, which I can believe. You know, we all make, you know, the one a day for 7 days, and we have an extra 2, and that's fine. But I think I'm quite proud in our home. We are, oh my goodness, we vary up from 60 things, and then I constantly, like, you gave me an idea of the buckwheat. I was like, right, let's try this. And so we just change. We change all the time. But what I would say is every maximum 3 days, but normally every other day we will have beans on our thing. The ideal is to have beans every day, but you know, it gets a bit boring. I mean, you know, so we'll try and make them every other day in some form. It might be or lentils or legume. I mean, it might be a lentil soup. It might be fasoles. It might be a lentil shepherd's pie, something like that. So, and then other times we have vegetables and just mixed food. Again, follow Cook Vegan and you'll see loads of ideas. Snacks in the afternoon include fruits and maybe healthy sponge cakes that we make, or nut bars, nut and seed bars, again, smoothies, and then dinner. And we normally just cook once for the day. So we have soup, salad, and a grain and vegetables, let's say, at lunch, and then that also takes us on for dinner. And in case we've run out of food, it's whip up a bit of pasta or have fishless fingers or something like that from the easy to bung in the oven.
Amazing. So it's like it's not boring. It's like a whole bunch of stuff which you can actually prepare, right?
My goodness, it's not boring at all. All my omnivore friends are like, they call me for that, you know, they make meat, but they're like, okay, Farah, what are you cooking today? Give us some inspiration. And they've started making more and more plant-based stuff, because they're like, oh, this is so much more interesting than our usual 7 dishes or 9 dishes. Yeah.
And plus it's much better for you.
Once you go plant, once you go plant-based, there's just so many things you can make, and colorful. Yeah,
colorful is a good point, actually. Yeah, I mean, and your digestion becomes much better, your skin becomes much better, you can eat quite a bit and you still don't feel as heavy as you used to when you ate the meat. I mean, it's a
also,
huge
guys,
difference.
You can eat more. It's amazing. You can just eat and eat and eat and eat, and you digest it better, you sleep better. You're not so heavy. You never wake up with that. I mean, I remember years ago I used to wake up like, oh, I'm so thirsty or heavy or not sleep so well. I never have this. I just eat. And I'm eating all the time. Like, people are always like, you know, and I have big meals. Okay, I'm breastfeeding now, so I eat, you know, like, I don't know, elephant. It's crazy. Yeah. And then every day I'm like, oh, I haven't lost all my pregnancy weight, you know, on my third lunch. But but you know, you really can eat. And that's, our stomachs are meant for that. So I think a lot of people and a lot of diets are all about, you know, having food that's harder to digest so that you won't eat so much, or feeling hungry, and that's okay. And you know what? We shouldn't have to feel hungry. You should be able to just pack your stomach full of healthy things with plants and vegetables and, you know, all these delicious fruits. And then, you know, your stomach will feel full and you'll stop eating. But that is naturally lower in calories. So, and just, you know, then you don't have to ever say, I don't want to eat that. If everything is healthy, even if you want to pick out one day, it's okay. And I just believe, you know, counting calories is something of the 90s. Like, who does that now? Why would you do that to yourself? I mean, I remember being at uni, it was horrible. Like, oh, wow, 124 calories. Okay, I better not. Oh, you know, just eat, guys, enjoy, but just be healthy.
Yeah, you know, it's a very good actually tradition that we have, like an Orthodox religion. Actually, if we look at it, the way we're supposed to eat, even that meat is supposed to be eaten maximum, like, I don't know, maybe 2-3 times a week, and fish also. So in any case, you know, we're supposed to limit. And plus 4 times a year, we're supposed to fast. I mean, these things are not done because of, you know, no reason. It's definitely some kind of observation, and it's definitely something that makes us more spiritual in a way. Because I'm sure that many people noticed after they fast, the whole fasting period, they come out and they think a little bit more clear. I'm sure that everybody noticed that. I mean, it's an interesting thing. And maybe because of that, actually, quite a few people never go back to eating meat again. And we have to think also why monks, not just the Cypriot monks, but any monks, Buddhist monks, any monks, they are vegetarian, vegan. I mean, it's not just because they don't want to kill an animal. It has something much more deep to it, I think.
Well, I think it's also just being more in tune with nature, because when you don't take from the world, you feel lighter in yourself. Spiritually, you feel lighter. If you don't kill something, if you don't take a life, if you don't abuse the world or anything or anyone, then you're just more at peace. You're more at peace. You're more natural. You're more at peace with nature. So there's definitely that aspect. There's also the physical aspect that you're healthier, and you feel better, that you're lighter, and therefore you're more able to do good. So you know, if you eat a big meal and it's heavy, and you've had, you know, half a leg of a pig or I don't know what, and you're sitting there, you're heavy and you can't digest, and you need your siesta, and you're not being able to contribute as much as you could. Whereas if you've had a lighter meal and you're full, you have all this energy, you feel more confident in yourself, you look better, so you feel better, and you're more likely to want to get out there and do something good and help other people. So there's that aspect as well. The only negative thing I would say is that unfortunately not everyone is that deep, and not everybody does fasting or interprets fasting for the right reason. So a lot of people, and I think maybe it has a lot to do with egotistical people, they want everyone to know they're fasting, and they want everyone to feel like they're suffering, that they're doing something for God and they're really suffering and they can't, and they use this word, I can't, whereas actually it's, I can do so much more now that I'm fasting, and I can eat all of these things. Whereas people interpret it, oh, I can't eat meat and I won't, and I'm being so religious and I'm the perfect Christian, and which is rubbish, and they focus on that. And so they have this thing that they're suffering, and they spend the 50 days looking forward to having them at the end of it, not really concentrating or praying, which praying as well is a sort of form of meditation, and being in tune with yourself, and with your inner thoughts and needs, not material needs, but your spiritual needs. So I think a lot of people have missed that in a way, and I think these are the people that then look at vegans like me and think, oh, you're crazy, you deprive yourself, why would you do that? And they just think I've got a screw loose. And I always laugh as if I've got, in the old days when they used to wear those hair vests with fleas on and whip themselves at night.
Yeah.
They think like, oh, I'm doing that or something, whereas it's not about deprivation. It's actually about the complete opposite, about giving back and feeling fulfilled. So yeah, and I think our religion is trying to teach us that, and many religions are, and I think it's very much misinterpreted. And I
definitely agree with you. Yeah.
And I think even religious people, they a lot of them don't understand that. They want it to be like that we're suffering, which we're not.
I agree with you totally. Also, another aspect is the health issue. For example, my mother, she suffered 2 cancers, and the first thing the doctors told her, you have to cut meat mostly, try to cut it if you can at all, but if not, just cut it dramatically. I mean, again, there is a reason to that, right? And a lot of people, when they get sick, first thing what the doctors say is, please try to cut meat. When my daughter was really, really tiny, I had this amazing doctor. He was a military doctor in Russia. He was really, really old, and he was saving many lives for children. And she had a very severe pneumonia, and she was in the hospital. And when she was recovered, thank God, I had to find the best doctor. So I found him, and he told me one thing. He said, when your child gets sick, when the child has a temperature, make sure that you don't feed him any meat. That was something very interesting also for me. So these health reasons, they're also really important, I think.
Absolutely. I really couldn't agree more. And I would say this is something that you are very blessed with, everybody in Russia, in that I think your doctors are just fabulous, and they do really read up, and they know a lot more about nutrition than I think the average doctor does in the West. I think, really doctors, are amazing, and we're so lucky to have so many amazing doctors here and everywhere in America and England and all over Europe. But, in medical studies, there's very little nutrition studies. I think there's only 12 hours or something. And once doctors have graduated, that's it. They never have to do nutrition studies again. So, they're trained very much to solve a problem once it's arisen. So you have a heart condition. All right, let's look into a stent or bypass. You have asthma. Okay, let's look at what steroids we can give you.
Yeah.
You have, whatever it is. The same thing, you've got a broken egg, we'll put a cast on it. That's great for that problem. But anything else, they just look at, okay, well, how can we fix it with drugs? And they don't really go into, well, why do you have this? Okay, and the drugs are fantastic. I'm not saying that we're not blessed with the pharmaceutical industry in many ways, but while that might help in the short term, well, what is the real reason you have this? Same thing when I had IBS, I was given Librax and a million other things. When I had psoriasis, I was given steroid creams, a lot of good that was going to do for me in the long run. Whereas, what is actually the cause of this? What can make you better. And like, you know, for you got to go to a doctor and a doctor to tell you for your child, don't give them meat. I mean, that is just for me incredible. And I just think I take my hat off to all Russian doctors for this, and especially the ones you've seen, because I mean, I know people in England who are very ill. I know people who've been dying from cancer, and they've been told, eat whatever it is, you need calories after the chemo, eat sweets, eat sugar, eat
Oh my
meat,
God.
eat
It's
dairy,
really
eat cream. And, you know, I've just been like absolutely flabbergasted. I just cannot believe that people, yes, they were thin, you know, they were very, very thin after their chemo, and they were basically dying. But you know, I was like, the doctor's trying to kill you earlier.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly,
you know,
exactly.
and
Yeah.
it's madness. And thank goodness, you know, I mean, a couple of people I know who advise this, they've survived, and others that I know, you know, they're older, they haven't made it. But this is the advice they were given, and I can't believe it. I'm like, anyway.
Yeah, sugar actually it feeds the cancer cells and they grow even more. So it's like their food basically, and the food for bad bacteria. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and also a lot of vegetarians and vegans. One thing that they have to be also cautious about is what kind of skincare they use, because you know, if you're a vegan and or a vegetarian and you're using a skincare which contains a whole bunch of stuff in it. I was telling you the story. I'll tell everybody. Yeah, it was so funny. I went for a face massage in Russia, thinking that, oh, this is something really natural, and okay, I didn't have Kypwell with me, but maybe they will use something also natural because it's a natural treatment. And when she was putting this stuff on me, I felt like some irritation, and I said, sorry, what is it that you're using? And she said, oh, it's amazing. It's a beautiful Japanese skincare made of a placenta. I had almost heart attack, because what kind of placenta are we talking about, first of all? And then when she says pig, okay, it's better than the human, but my God, I freaked out, you know? I was like, yeah, I mean, and that's why we also have to think that whatever we eat is the same as we're putting on our skin. We have to be conscious about that. And our skincare, of course, is vegan. And that's not just a fashion or whatever. It's for the reason, because it's more healthy, and that's what we're aiming. Kypwell is about well-being. Farah, before we finish, tell us about your restaurant.
I will, but I'll just tell you, I'll just quickly say everyone who's watching, I mean, obviously they're watching for a reason and they're already fans of Kypwell, but I love Kypwell. I'm really, I keep laughing. I'm so tired. I wish I was a better advert for Kypwell, but
Thank you so much.
I'm still up all the night, so yeah, I'm not. But it's really it's just everything. I love it all. I love the scrub. I love your serum. I love your creams, your face mask, and you know, and you guys just keep getting better and better from your packaging now. What beautiful packaging. The smells, everything. There's a lot of natural products as well. I mean, they might be amazing on your skin, but let's face it, they smell horrific. Whereas you guys, I put that almond scrub on and I just want to keep doing it. It makes me want to, you know, massage myself for 5 minutes. It's just so beautiful. So I love it all. And I'm just so proud as well to be working with you in our spa and selling Kypwell.
Thank you so much.
So obviously our spa's closed now, but we are selling you guys online. So we just started, I think yesterday or today.
What is your shop? What is the name of your shop?
It's on our website. So www.senrafael, STRAPHAEL.com. And then we've got all of the natural, your vegan products. And we also have Zaul makeup, which is also vegan. Natural. And we've got life form yoga mats, which are natural and biodegradable, and they last for life. They're amazing. So we've got an array of things, all vegan. But I feel very blessed that, you know, when I was looking for a new product to work with in our spa, and I was like, oh great, you know, I want a vegan product. I want one that's sustainable and natural. And I would love one produced in Cyprus, as if I was going to find that, you know, and I was trying to look elsewhere. And suddenly, just from a sample that I got of you guys from a conference that stayed in a random drawer, I took it out and I saw vegan Cyprus. And I called you guys, and it's just all worked out really well. So
yeah, we're really happy to be your partners, guys.
Yeah, me too, really. And so finally, we have a vegan restaurant here in Limassol. It is called Seashells Healthy Living, and it is the first Cyprus Hotel vegan restaurant on the island. Actually, it's the only, at the moment, it's the only vegan beach restaurant in Cyprus. So it's full of yummy food. We're reopening on the 1st of June. So obviously we've been closed now with coronavirus, but we're reopening. Our staff are fantastic there. They're all going to have, of course, the COVID-19 test. So we make sure that they go back all healthy and fine. And they've all very excited, and they've agreed that, yeah, they will go from home to work and back, and they're not going to move around, and be super healthy and wear their mask and glove. And we have delicious salads. We've got Beyond Meat burger there.
I love them.
Yeah. We have amazing other burgers like sweet potato and quinoa, and mushroom burgers, delicious. We have, we're going to start having pastas and gluten-free pastas like lentil pastas, stuff like that. So we do lovely vegan ice cream and smoothies and juices. So you can come also to St. Raphael Beach and just grab it. We've got sustainable packaging. So have your meal there while you're at the beach, which will be reopening from 1st of June. Or just call us and have takeaway. You know, you just
great.
Make your order. Everything is all up. Paper bags, it's all sustainable. We'll even give you a fork and knife, or wooden. Everything is eco-friendly. And so yeah, you can just drive in and get your amazing food and have your falafel wrap or whatever else. So yeah, and Sailor's Rest, which is not obviously our vegan restaurant. Seashells Healthy Living is our vegan, but we have Sailor's Rest as well, which is reopening next Thursday, the 21st.
Ooh.
And although it's obviously not a vegan restaurant, we have a lot of vegan options. So we have vegan curry, vegan pasta, loads of yummy salads. And so you can go there and have delicious vegan food, including vegan sushi, when our vegan chef, when our sushi master can come back. He actually went home on holiday, and then the coronavirus, he's stuck now. In the Far East, but when it's, yeah, he'll come back, and then I really recommend the vegan sushi. It's amazing.
Thank you so much, Farah. I really appreciate you joining us tonight. It was a great talk. Thank you so much. Take care and good luck with your restaurant, the hotel, the spa, the shop, everything. All the best.
Really, and to you, all the best for your business. You know,
you're an
inspiration to us all, and the best to your family.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.